Do you know that you can find a lot of interesting stuff at 3 a.m.? Like this NES ROM. And well, now to that unintended and unexpected crash of Crash Team Racing, I guess that now I owe a CTR run for a future RGL event. And definitely that was a signal for me to don't run the NTSC version until I have a fat PS2. I will keep doing pole runs for marathons, which also helps for meme purposes. So, Crash Team Racing. I hope that somebody clip the crash and put a title like that on it. Otherwise, I don't know how I'm gonna be feeling upon that. But yeah, I think that's the first time that the game crashes for me in that way. So, the only game that I was able to do during the Retroton. And hold on, let me look something because since I have been streaming on past months, I haven't used my English for that, so there are some stuff that I have been forgetting. So. Okay, so this is probably my flagship game. It's a game that I have spent a lot of hours and also that I helped a lot with its routing. A game where I have been looking for the world record for a long time, but the closest I have been hitting second place. So memes, I guess. Snow Brothers, one of my favorite childhood games. That well, when I was a kid, I had the PS1, so that was my childhood console. And while other friends had a Polystation, the famous infamous NES clone with a PS1 shape, I have a PS1 with a mod chip, and I remember having a disc that said Super Nintendo 4500 games, and this was one of them. I discovered this game thanks to my father because he used to play it a lot on arcades back in the day. So I spent a lot of time playing the NES version. So this has a big sentimental value for me because I have never had a kind of good relationship with my father, but we used to spend a lot of time playing this game. So I'm really glad about being able to run this. So I'm gonna make a number 3. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, Fangster first. My speech for this game is very well prepared for me. That's something I need to practice or trying to remember to what to say because I used to say the same all the time. I'm beginning to considering to record my commentary, so I will just simply put play when I play. And something really good happened here in the first stage. Let's see if we can keep that. Please, 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 please. Okay, that's the reset, unfortunately. 3, 2, 1, go. And that was really bad because I got bought the yellow and blue potion on the first stage, but when you get it on first place, there's a big chance that you don't get the red potion on the second stage. So basically, first, it's gonna look like if I'm playing randomly, but what am I doing is that I'm setting up the position of the enemies. Because this is something I like to call position manipulation. Because compared with other video games, usually depending of the RNG and cycles and that kind of things, the position of the enemies, well, where the enemies move on and their positions are, I don't know, work, and that's the way that they work on the video games. But in this case, depending on your position on the screen is where the enemies are going to be moving. So I'm going to try to put them on a specific slots in order to, in specific spots in order to be able to manipulate the position because I can get some items. I got again the blue potion on the first stage. I was lucky there. We're still working on the manipulation to get it there because we have seen that there's possible net pattern in order to get the blue potion, but it's really tricky to get. And on the second stage, I got the red potion, which is the most important of the game. Usually, when you don't get on the second stage, you restart the game immediately. You don't want to lose time trying to get the red potion later, definitely. Because, as we can see, the red potion helps us to move faster. Which is something really good. because regular movement is really slow, so we don't want to spend a lot of time trying to move slowly into the game. So as we can see, the concept of the game is kind of similar to and also my estimate is not the correct one. I'm aware that that was for this for CPR. My estimate is 24 minutes if somebody want and can fix that on screen. So as you can see, the concept of the game, it's basically similar to Bubble Bubble, but instead of bubbles we have snowballs. So the way we defeat enemies is that we need to turn them into snowballs and then throw the snowballs. And if a rolling snowball touches an enemy, that enemy is gonna fly through the stage. And after a second, after the enemies land back on the floor, after like a second, you will get an item. So in some stages you can get the potions. There are total of 4 potions in the game. The red potion, which helps us to going faster, really easy to get on second stage. Also, first boss, nothing interesting. 6 hits and we're done. We can have also the blue potion that increases our shooting power, and just with two simple shootings, and we can turn an enemy into a snowball. And so first boss defeated. Memes, I guess. The yellow potion, which is the right one that I'm lacking of, increases our shooting range. Some people prefer to don't get that potion. In this case, if I get it, I'm just gonna grab it because waiting until it disappears will just take more time to switch to the next stage, because the game considers well, not consider, the game checks if you're still having enemies on or any kind of item on the screen. And if the screen is not clean, meaning that there are no enemies nor items, the game will simply it's not gonna move us to the next stage. So I'm gonna try to catch all the items I have, otherwise it's gonna be something really slow. It's gonna be really slow. Sorry, really slow. I don't know where my head is right now. Yeah, 5:18 in the morning. And also, a good hack if you wanna get accepted if you wanna increase your chances of being accepted on any online marathon or any marathon in general. If you submit your that you are available during dead hours or during midnight or early hours like this one, believe it or not, you have more chances to get accepted. In most marathons I have been featured, I used to be featured these hours just to that. And also you have a lot. Also, I say this also as a marathon organizer, because I also organize online and on-site marathons. That kind of availability helps a lot to marathon organizers. So well, the category is called All Stages. It was called All Stages One Player, but not so much time ago it was renamed simply All Stages, which is basically the 100% completion of the game. Because something exclusive to the NES version of this game is the Lotto Bag item. That when you get it, you get a special slot machine that can help you to skip stages. That's the any percent category, which honestly is not so attractive for me. That's why I don't run that category. And no, Snow Bros was never released into Virtual. It had an alternative version for the Game Boy, and well, this is a bad position for the second boss. So this is the frog. It's like they changed it from its arcade counterpart, because here, mainly due to the NES limitations, a lot of bosses and a lot of stages and that kind of things were changed. Because in this case, with the arcade version, also bonus slot machine, something exclusive to the NES version. We can get a cross, we can get a letter from the Snow World, and we can get a 1-up directly in National Live. So the best thing to have are just 3 crosses, because crosses gives you nothing. Each letter from the Snow World gives you 10k points, and the life everything gives you a life, but it gives you 50k points, and the most points you get, the most slowest that is gonna take to the game to move to the next stage. I got that mark unlocked having 2 additional 1-ups in a run during my best of NES marathon back in 2019. And also, if you complete the snow world with the letters, you don't get the 50k additional points, which is something good. So going back to the stuff that was changed, that boss, that big frog, the second boss of the game, uses to spawn on the floor all the time, and then slowly it began moving to the top of the screen. But in the NES version, due to console limitations, you can see that it just simply pops out and fades out after a while. So what do we want to get here is that all the time the big frog keeps on the top of the screen, which is the optimal way to be able to defeat it. But if it appears on the floor, you can manage to defeat the boss without big problems. Because that frog is gonna throw some bombs, we need to freeze the bombs and throw them as snowballs to the big frog, and then that was everything. And also, that big sumo guy, it just simply disappears when you defeat other enemies. But if you manage to reach where he is and you defeat it, a big bill is gonna appear. That is just simply it's gonna simply give you points. So that's pointless for a run. And also, some enemies like that blue guys are really annoying because they turn into a tornado after a while, and when they're on that form, you cannot make them damage. But you can do what I have done just to be a bit safe. Because if a rolling snowball touches you, once you get rid of it, once you jump out of it, you will gain like a second. You will gain like a second of invincibility time. Which helps you in case that you need to get more closer to some enemies in order to defeat them. That's everything. Also, first, Space Killer, the birds. 3 hits to each of them and we're done. Okay, that was not good. Oh, that was not a good position. Okay, that was not the best, but at the same time it was not so bad. And I used to say that this is a big pace killer because it's still being kinda unpredictable where the birds are gonna land, and sometimes where there's zigzag movement, they can move to a section where they can touch you, and obviously you're gonna die. So that's why we consider the birds as the first base killer of the game, and mainly the second biggest reset point on the game. But don't worry, we're still having something that is even worse than that. And this is the moment where Mr. Speedrunner runs out of ideas and out of speech. In this stage, you can get a lot of, well, with the any percent category as I mentioned before, in specific stage you can get a lot of back item, which is gonna help to us to skip stages. That's obviously not allowed on this category. For now, there are just 3 stages where we are aware that lot of back exists, which are stages 11, 12, and 32, or floor, whatever you want to call them. And also, that's a good way to use the invincibility second, the second of invincibility that you can get when you get stuck into a snowball. And also, you can do this, you can jump over the snowball. It's a bit tricky because sometimes the game will simply refuse to do the things as it's supposed that you need to do them. Because mostly on those biggest sections, if you are inside them, you're wrecked because you need to use a snowball to jump over it and get out of it. Like here, for example, I need a snowball in order to get out of it, but since I have no enemies, so it's really simple. Let's see if I can get something good here, because shoutouts to No Headset, actual world record holder of the game, which discovered this easiest way to complete this stage, which is simply just to wait until all the enemies fall down. And I didn't make it into the optimal way because I haven't played this game in a while. So, without being a liar about this, the last time I played this game was at Retrotone. So since then I haven't played this game. Oh damn. So basically I'm playing the game a bit rusty. So nice meme. Because again, I was not expecting to run this right now. And also, if your run has been going well, this is the biggest and massive pain in your thumbs to complete. Floor 39, because all stop here. Well, you get stuck in the middle of the stage. You cannot get out of it unless you get a snowball to jump over them. So the best thing to do is just simply keep static, don't do nothing, wait until the enemies fall down. Now, so this boss was changed from the arcade version, because in the arcade version we have 2 big goblins, and also you cannot turn these far enemies into snowballs. You get another enemies that fall from the top of the screen, and you turn them into snowballs. And the arcade version, those fire enemies simply turn into a small firewall once you shoot them something. And I got a 1-up. You will see how much long it takes. That's just a big amount of time. That's why you don't want to see a 1-up on that machine. And also, fortunately, that's the last of that of those machines that we're gonna be seeing during the run. So this is something good. Also, those bats are really easy to defeat, but sometimes the angle is not so good. And what a nice meme I got here. So I'm gonna explain really quick what happened here. Sometimes there are some stages where if you see holes on the floor, you're not gonna die if you fall on them. You simply get teleported to the top of the screen, which is really good. And as you have seen with the bat, which also that has happened to me on PB/world record paces, and that has helped to kill the pace. The enemies will sometimes keep bouncing on the screen, but after a while, if they simply don't land on any place, the game will make them bounce again on an invisible floor that you have seen, and that's like the fastest / easiest way that you will have to defeat them. Well, not to defeat them, to wait until you can get the item. Believe me, it's really interesting when you can spell that kind of words. I didn't get an owu. That I don't know why, but when I get it in marathons, people like to spam the chat with owu. Probably I'm too old at my 27 to understand that kind of jokes, or happen to find them interesting. But if people likes that and it's not illegal, then I have no problems. Well, it turns into something good for everybody. Yeah, the letters in the snow machine are snow, as I mentioned before. And well, no matter how good or how bad was your run, welcome to the paradise of RNG lovers. The big stoneheads. Compared with the arcade version, it's more easier to defeat them here the NES version because the bubbles are faster and the roof keeps static. 10 hits to each of them and we're done. And also, this is a big, a heavily based RNG stage because there's no way yet to manipulate what we can get on the bubbles. But what we can do, as you can see, is that I'm trying to get stuck in the bubbles where there's an item, in this case a potion, because due to any limitation, if you have a lot of elements on screen, you will get less bubbles, which is something bad, because you only get 2 bubbles per each stone head. And at the same time, well, mainly the biggest problem are these firewalls, because there are no way to get rid of them. Fortunately, on the Switch remake, you can defeat them. Probably on a future RGL event, I will submit the remake, which is really good. Also, there were some changes compared with the arcade version, but not so big as ones, which makes the game interesting. Okay, besides I haven't been able to get all the items. I'm getting like very good luck with the bubbles, getting a lot of enemies because I have got a lot of world record pieces in the past where the bosses will simply keep me like 1 or 2 minutes without enemies. And I don't know why the game hates me on that way. Okay, it doesn't matter I have died. Let's see if I can get the glitch. That's the first that I had. So considering that I'm rusty, I'm impressed that I've survived like that. Also, my PB in this game is 1830. I have been looking the world record of this game since 2017. Since 2018, sorry. Yeah, since 2017, 2018. I have submitted this game since then to EDQ events. I have been rejected, which is good because sometimes I have no money to travel to USA. Time's gonna finish once I defeat that stonehead. And also I got an NES just for that, which is really good because I used to run this game in emulator. The game is hell expensive, so it was cheaper for me to get an EverDrive and an NES and the game card. But I hope that at some point I can get a game card of this. And also, once you have a single stonehead, you can simply ignore the fact that you get items stuck on the top of the section of the screen because all the time you will have 2 bubbles. So you need to try to hit each of the stoneheads a single time, so you can have like a count on them. So once you defeat one stonehead, just another hit, and you defeat the other one. But you can mess easily things like this. So I just died a single time, but I haven't used any of the continues of the game because the game has 9 continues. Like if you put 9 coins on the arcade game. And well, the plot of the game is that basically Princess Terry and Nina got kidnapped by Evil King Scorch. Brothers Nick and Tom tried to save them. They fail on that, so the Evil King Scorch put on them a snowman curse, turning them into snowmen, as you have seen. So they need to face the Evil King Scorch, defeat them, and rescue the princesses. So if you use that let's continue in the game, the end it will be simply that you defeated Evil King Scorch, you rescued the princesses, and the peace is back in the kingdom. But if you don't use any continue, as we have seen, we unlock the real ending of the game where you save the princesses, Bad Brothers get rid of the snowman curse, and they get married with the princesses, like any old fairy tale. And well, this was Snow Brothers. Again, this was not expected to be featured in the event, but considering that a game decided to crash, this thing happened. But anyways, we're gonna be switching back to intermission really quick. I'm gonna set up again the PS2, and with that, Thanks for GG's. And with that, we're gonna be seeing Pac-Man World, which is another. Well, this is a broken game, and I really hope that you enjoy it. That's another one of my childhood games. 1937. Considering I haven't played this game in a while, I think this is good. But well, see you in a little bit. I'm gonna switch back to the PS2.